Hello, everyone. Sorry about the delay. We were chatting. Is that Brian's fault again?
Brian's fault. Yeah.
Let's start by introducing my team. So today we have the lovely Ruby,
Good morning, afternoon.
the chatty Brian,
Yeah, I'm here anyway. Yeah, I'm definitely here.
the sitting in somebody else's house Mark,
Alrighty.
and the wonderful Joe.
Joe,
Good
Joe,
Thank
afternoon.
you
Joe,
all for coming
Joe,
in.
Joe, and accompanying parrot.
And accompanying parrot, yeah.
Yeah,
it goes.
she's on one now.
There it goes.
Shut it.
Terry's off to the hospital today, so he might be in the chat for a little while, but not for long.
Oh.
So that's why I'm covering for him.
Oh.
So what we're going to do?
Your life, Pete, apparently, because I've just got a notification from YouTube.
I'll go and watch that then. So this is the blank that was in the picture on the thumbnail, but I've trimmed it up, taken the corners off it, and put a little bit of filler in there because I think I'll be cutting that away, but I just want to make sure it was not too deep. So I had to trim it because Brian said I wasn't allowed to have those shavings on the floor during the life.
Not
So I had
allowed to have
to
shavings.
trim it and then clean them all up.
There you go.
It's on a faceplate. I don't often use faceplates, but
If it's
funny mood,
flat
isn't it?
like, if it's flat like that, I find I prefer a faceplate.
Yeah, I normally just put a force and a bit in the back of it and go from there.
What size is it, Pete? 8 inches or something?
It's about 8 inches by, it's about 3 1/4. So by the time I put a tenon on it, 3 inch.
I have a question.
Rex has just asked me a question. Do you mind if it's a personal question? Do you mind if I answer it? He's asking what RPT stands for. I was accepted onto, in the UK, we have a thing called the Register of Professional Turners, which is like a governing body of turners that have reached an acceptable standard. So I'm now allowed to have letters after my name.
It's
Yeah, I
like
don't want letters
it's
after my name, because my name's already long enough.
It's like a university degree, Rex.
Sort of.
Yeah, it is that sort of thing, isn't it? But yeah, my name's long enough. It doesn't fit on the forms as it is. But yeah, so let's start chopping this up, and somebody can let me know who's watching today.
Do you want me to do it?
Yes,
Oh, well volunteered,
Yeah.
Joe.
Well,
An
you
hour
know,
long. It's an hour long live. We've got time.
get stuffed. Anyway,
Ooh, just like that.
anyway, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. And in the chat we have Pete, of course.
I
he
thought
said
you were
hello
going. I so thought you were going to say it in the red corner then.
Does that. So we have the Klondike craftsman, Shane Hurst, Michelle. We've got Ruby Clare. We've got myself. We've got Mark, gentleman woodturner. Norman Greenwell, Chris Dodds, Malcolm Douglas, TJ Turning. Hi Terry, he's made it to the chat. Keep on going. We've got Terry Bartlett, Clive Rogerson, Rex B, Wivey Woodshed. Hi Andy. Keep going.
Now, this could end up as an egg cup because these shavings smell delicious. Smell of cinnamon.
Lovely.
Paul White and the Greasby Turner. William Kenny. I know somebody's checking who I'm saying. We've got Ward
Am
Wilson.
I'm watching. We've got Copperall Wood Turning. Andy the Valley Wood Turner, Bundy Row. That's a mouthful. Little mouthful. Roger Kent. Susie Swiss Wood Turner. And I think we're at the bottom. That's probably the fastest.
Well,
I've
I'm not so
said.
sure. Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah. Mark, you've got
Not
to be impressed
sure.
by that.
I was impressed. I'm not sure if you said Rex B and
I did.
Shane Hurst, but
I did. Shane was one of the first I said.
Yep.
I wasn't listening.
Right,
Well,
so that's two tools.
After all
used.
that.
Well, regardless, if she didn't call out your name, welcome to Pete's session.
Yes. Yes, I do apologise if I've missed anybody. There we go.
Boom, 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 boom,
Right,
boom.
that's 3 tools used to make the tenon. So that justifies me buying all these tools.
Does.
Yes. And how deep is the tenon?
Oh, it's about 3. I don't know actually.
Well, when you make the tenon shouldn't be as deep as the jaws on your chuck are. So
No.
anything less than that is fine.
Yep.
Do they vary that much then?
Yes.
Not a lot.
Yes.
Well, some of them do,
Um,
but
Depth of jaws do, yeah.
Depends on the jewels. So, I mean, some of them.
Yep.
Grab this one.
I have to say that kind of standard jaws like record power and stuff, they usually have somewhere between 10, round about 10 mil.
Yeah.
So if your
Right.
tenons, if you have a tenon that's sort of 6 or 7 mil, you should be pretty well. Okay
These
with
big
it.
jewels, they're 15 mil deep.
There you go.
Yeah, and as long as the wood doesn't touch the bottom of the jaws,
Okay.
the
Hopefully it
tenon
doesn't bottom
should
out.
hold.
Okay.
But
I had a student tell you who was doing a bolt turning course on Saturday, and I showed him how to do a tenon, Pete. And I
Yeah.
said, you can do it with one tool, but where's the fun in that? So I used 3 as
exactly. You've got to use as many tools as you can, really. But yeah, that's 3 mil deep, that tenon. It's
well. More tools you
Yeah.
use, more tools you can buy.
Oh, yeah. So Rex B's got a question for you, Pete. Does
Yeah.
Brian help you clean your shop? Lol.
no.
Yeah,
No.
no.
And when
No,
Brian
that's-
visits, he
that's
makes
my
a mess
jo-
in the
that's
shop and
my
he doesn't clean it
job.
up.
That's my job, Pete.
Yeah,
Remember?
Ruby, on the other hand, she comes over and she completely tidies my shop, in exchange for bed and some food. So
I just make a mess in Pete's workshop.
yeah, Brian just comes and makes it messy.
Susie's
Ah.
asking, is it wet or dry?
This is very dry. It's been
The
in
Lord
my
also think-
store for I think 6 years. This one.
There you go. Ward thinks it looks like a nice block of cheese. That's a bit.
Yeah, but the taste won't be there.
No, no.
Is it Glenn Lucas roughing cut there, Pete? Done.
So Glenn Lucas cut with a 45-degree fingernail grind. Right there.
We've got 36 people watching. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming in.
And please don't forget to hit the like button.
Yeah, that makes me happy if you do that.
Ah.
Oh God, press the button, make him happy, for goodness sake. Press the button, everybody.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be giving Brian grief all week.
Can't have Pete being miserable now. I mean, he's really too big to be miserable.
I was going to say, I don't think he's got a miserable bone in his body.
I don't think so either. Tell you something to go, he's hit the thumbs up button and now he's home to leave. Best of luck this afternoon, buddy. Hope
Yeah, Terry, good luck, mate.
everything's okay.
Hello, Terry.
Now, Terry's
Yeah,
off to get his
Ruby, I've seen him
bionic
with-
sorted so he can find his spanner.
He's bionic. He's still lost that spanner.
Maybe you say you've never seen him miserable. I've seen him when we run out of beer. He's not happy then.
Ooh. Yeah, but that's priorities. Beer is important. Or in my
It
case,
is.
cider is.
Ow. Life.
I bought 48 cans of Doom Bar before Christmas and I've still got some of them.
Are you on to the second pack of 24?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm
Just.
regularly doing it evening here women for both Brian and Mark. I've got to increase my Doom Bar stocks.
Fair enough.
Robert
Robert
Brock has just
Brockwood's.
joined us.
Live idea is going to be a long one.
Beat you, Joe.
You did, you?
And Rex B says, question, does your dust collection system work well?
Mine does, yeah.
So does mine when I remember to clean the filters.
Switch it on. How often do you have to clean filters?
Mine
Depends
is
on-
a 2.5 horsepower chip collector in the building next door to this one, my wood store.
You've
And
got to build a wood star as well.
yeah, of course, got a wood store as well.
God, these people that have got multiple buildings.
Everybody needs
Well,
a
you know.
wood store.
Yeah, wood store as well, James.
I needed one, so I built
The
one.
alleyway next to my house. Under tarpaulin, so it's not really a building. But
So,
yeah.
so in answer to the how often you need to clean your filters, it depends how often you use them, basically. I clean mine once a week now.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends too on what your what type of wood you're cutting, whether it's dry or wet.
That's true.
This is true.
Leslie Ann has joined us. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Leslie.
Still working out the shape of this.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bowl-like? Sorry.
But bowl-like is fine. I mean, pudding bowl.
Well, you could have the top close in a bit and make it just a nice rounded top edge.
I think you're enjoying.
Yeah, I think he's just enjoying
That's
taking
fine.
shavings,
Yeah.
to be honest. Yeah.
It smells.
Well,
Dewey sheds in.
Obviously,
Hello.
his tools are very
Afternoon,
sharp.
Chewy.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
Do you want to have a look at where that knot was and how that's working?
I do like the figuring in it.
Making it beautiful, but it's a pain in the arse. Cracks if you even look at it wrong. Yeah, even when it's dry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
even
I've
when you
cut-
think it's right.
I've cut wet cherry before and cut a vase or a bowl. Come to it the following day, and it's actually split into two pieces where it's decided to crack. I don't think I'm going to curve it in, Ruby. I think I'm going to keep it flared out, I think.
You could
If I
still
turn it
take a
here-
little. You could still take a little off the bottom then.
Yeah, a little bit more off the bottom. If I turn it in, then this inclusion here will be in the wrong place. So I think I'll stick with that sort of shape-ish.
How deep do you think the inclusion is? Pete?
Quite deep.
Might be able to go through into the inside.
No, it's only 3 mil or so. So if I keep it at 5 mil, I'll have a solid inside. Hopefully.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how it develops.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch to a smaller bowl gauge now.
So 3/8 Pete.
3/8, yeah.
A continental measurement, a North American, or a Sheffield?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3/8 English, so it's half-inch American.
Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks has joined us.
It's nearly time it's nearly time we had a standardization of gauge sizes.
I've already done that.
Yeah, me too.
Small,
Small,
medium, and
medium, and
big.
large. Yeah, that's what I do. I use a small gauge.
Just tidy that up a little bit there.
Well, there's a question from Rex B. Question for the team. He says, I'm doing a platter that will have 6 emblems on it. What is the typical settings for that? Thank you for your suggestions. 16-inch platter, emblems are 3.5-inch diameter.
The best way to work that out, Rex, is to hopefully you have a
Protractor?
a gauge on your lathe for setting stops,
Oh, yeah.
and say you have an
An
index.
indexing gauge.
Right. I was having a senior moment.
I thought you were with it.
Yeah. Well, when you get to my age, Brian, then you'll understand.
I know. I'm not far behind.
Anyway, if you have an index system, use that and divide it into, say, okay, if you have 24 settings, divide it every 6, and then draw a circle the size of your emblems and sort of stand back and look and see if that's going to work out visually. If not, you can sand it off and say put on only every 6 settings and see how it looks.
Or the other thing you can do is to draw your 16-inch circle and do 60-degree segments, and that'll give you 6. So if you do 120 degrees, that'll give you 3 points. If you do 60 degrees, that'll give you 6 points. You can just draw it out on a piece of paper first and then see.
You could, but it's a lot easier to do it on the lathe with the index system. Then you don't have to do all the division of degrees.
It's also an easy way, if you don't have an indexing system, and Stuart showed me this last year, use the cut breaks in your chuck jaws.
Right.
Because you've got 4 defined lines already, and then you can divide those. So once you've drawn them on, then you can just divide halfway between each one as well. So even if you haven't got an indexing system, you have by using the chuck jaws, because you've got divisions of 4 or multiplications of 4.
By the way, Eric Winkler has joined us.
Hi,
And
Eric.
Dave B. Misk as well. Hi, Dave.
And Dave B.
And Peter Corcoran has joined us.
And so is Jennifer Crafton Creations.
Oh, Jennifer.
Hi, Jen.
Is Glenn watching?
It's Glyn, yes, Glyn's here.
Yep, Glenn, that was a tool mark.
Never. Can't believe it was a tool mark. Steve from SK Crafts is in. Good afternoon,
Hi,
all he
Steve.
says.
Hi, Steve.
Nice break.
Hey, Steve.
I hope some of you folks have been catching our lives with record power.
Yeah, I missed it the other day. I missed Emma's. I actually forgot it was on.
Yeah, it was. She did a very good. She did a very good job.
She does.
I saw the pictures of what she did. It was really nice, but I also missed it.
She broke the record for the number of people in a demo as well. So 1,500, it was almost 1,600 people.
Right.
Blimey.
Well, one of the things we started doing at the halftime sessions is we've been tackling some of the most common questions that woodturners ask. So like last session, we did an explanation on the 2 basic types of exhaust systems, the dust collectors and the chip collectors. And the next one we're going to be talking about gouges. And I forget what we talked about on the very first one when we started doing these half times. The Record Power lives are free. You just go to the Record Power channel and sign up for them. They'll send you notices and the link for coming in. And
Brian, can you find the Record Power
Doing
sign
it.
up link?
I'm on it.
It's on their website.
it.
They are very good. Another good one that came out recently was Ed Oliver did one on gouges. Not anything particularly official. It's his view on the various gouges and grinds available. Which, if you're not actually totally happy with the way your gouges are working, it's worth a look.
well, this next one might be interesting when we deal particularly with angles of ball gouges.
Yeah.
David Heath has joined us.
Hello,
Hi,
David.
David.
At least I hope the Record Power one's going to go. They got an awful lot of rain in New Zealand.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, Mike sent me some photos of rain coming down through the yard and down the driveway, and it looked like looked like a very heavy waterfall. Put it that way.
Wow.
So you can have a look on that link I've just put in there. It's actually the Record Power website, recordpowertv.com it is.
Yep.
And it gives you all the details there: home, new member registration, demonstrations, meet the live session team, community gallery, contact us, and there's a webinar tip as well. So it's quite a good resource. Pop over and have a look
So
at it.
if you sign up for the newsletter, you get sent an email about a week before each session, and then the day of the session reminding you. You just click the link to go in.
Yeah, and the newsletter comes out every Friday, and it's usually pretty good. No, it's not every Friday. It's every.
No, it's not.
No, when I get it.
I'm not sure whether it's
Say twice a month I get something from Record Power.
Yeah.
New member registration, it says here, I'll just read it. Unlimited access to all live sessions, member product offers and discounts, special pricing for private one-to-one sessions, interaction with our global community, access to new video releases, demonstrator question and answer sessions, member competition prize giveaway, access to our gallery, members gallery. And all you have to do is put your email address, first name, last name, and your country. And then tick the box and click register, and it will be sent to your mailbox.
Yeah, you'd be amazed how many different countries are viewing those.
And the last one was number 72. So there are lots there.
And what they're doing later on, like Emma did her session, and we're doing the halftime sessions. They're editing those, and then shortened versions of those will be put on their YouTube site.
Perfect.
Now, Pete, what is it you are applying right now?
This is cellulose sanding sealer. My usual 50-50 mix of Libron sanding sealer and cellulose thinners.
Lucy Bunty Rose just joined. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Good afternoon, Lucy.
I met Lucy and Andy at Yandel's last Friday.
I was going to say, if Lucy's about, Andy won't be far behind.
He's already in the chat.
Oh, he's in, is he? Oh, Lucy was late again. Oh, typical woman, always late.
Hey.
You better be careful with that.
I knew that would demand a response.
Who was the first person in this morning, Pete?
I think it was Shane.
Good one.
Pops
Yeah.
in.
The first person in here was
Hi, Dr. Bob.
Hi,
Ruby.
Dr. Bob.
Hi,
Joe
Bob.
came in twice.
And Lucy just said Andy should be working. Exclamation marks.
Ooh.
Whoops. Caught Andy.
Lucy's probably late in because she's been busy hiding from Gargamel in the enchanted forest with all the other staffs.
Now, I'm not going to take the tenon off today because I want to refinish this properly later on. But,
It's always a good plan.
so the tenon's staying on there, but when I do take it off, it'll just be a friction plate job. Or maybe cold wheels if I feel so inclined, but easy enough to get off. And I will cut a concave base into this so it sits on the outer ring.
Cool.
And we are going to go for
Oh no!
Oh, singing!
Not the grid!
go for a bit of singing and some dust-free sanding.
Steve said, Lucy, it's overrated work, that is. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Work
I
is
found out it was a
definitely
bad
overrated.
idea, so I stopped doing it.
It was handy when I had to pay bills, but
Well, it's
Still got
also
bills to pay.
handy if you get yourself a pension afterwards. Pete and I were
That's-
talking about that. And
Yeah.
then it allows you to buy those extra tools and that when you have
Correct.
the time to use them.
That's 100% correct. Anybody who's working should be paying into a pension.
That's right. And when you get my age, you'll have 7 lathes like I do.
Yeah, I'd have 7 lathes, but I haven't got the space for them, so I'm quite happy with the one. Well, I've got another one coming.
Oh, you have not?
I have.
Oh, see you.
You never have too many, Brian.
I've
Yeah.
kind of got 2 on order, so I've only got 3 lathes.
I've lost count of how many lives we've got.
Well, I hope Pete gets them before I visit him next so that we don't have to alternate who's on the lathe. And maybe one of them
It's
will
gonna be
be down at my level.
Lucy's obviously going to have to open the vault door because the heating oil has just arrived.
Aha.
Hands that feel pity can
Oh,
be
no.
soft
Oh, Ben.
as your face with light brown Yorkshire gritty.
Round of applause for Joe.
Now, I think I've been very restrained here because I'm standing amongst these shavings and the smell is delicious.
Yeah, I know.
So
And we've still got some wood left in the chuck.
there's still some wood in the chuck. Yeah, I mean, I could have turned it down to a 4-inch bowl, couldn't I?
Good.
Got all that,
Good.
got all the insides to dig out yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll answer a question from Rex. I do use all 7 lathes and only 4 of them when I'm teaching, so I'll take a max of 4 students. The other ones, 2 of them are ornamental lathes, and I use them for doing special work.
Yeah. Quite fancy one of those ornamental lace.
Well, my 2 are homemade, Brian. You can make your own, you know. It's a lot cheaper than buying one.
Have you got the plans?
Online.
Yeah, if you go online and Google them, you can come up with the plans for them. Before you do, it's a good idea to find someone who's got one and see exactly how they work so you know what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So always the best way to spend money is to go and use somebody else's first. Find out if you really want to do it before
Well,
you
you know,
spend any money at all.
in New York, they have the Plumier Foundation, and they do have classes there where you can use different ornamental lace and find out if you like it.
Okay, so that was running at 300 RPM to do the actual abrasive side of the grit. Now I'm turned up to 1,000, and I'm just basically taking it off again.
Cheers, Steve.
take the last of the wax off that's in the Yorkshire grip, and get it back to basic wood with a bit of oil on it, so it will colour the wood slightly. But if you take the wax off, you take all the grit out with it.
Now we can start calling you the Karate Kid. Wipe on, wipe off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Steve said Ruby Bryan struggles to apply embellishing wax. I'm not
Right,
sure
right,
about
right.
making a lathe.
Who said that?
We'll get
Everybody in the chat.
Knowing Day Creations has just popped in. Hello, Kev.
I
Hi,
guess.
Kev.
Good afternoon, Kev.
Hi, Kev.
I don't struggle at all with embellishing wax. I just use too much of it. It's not a struggle. It's easy to put on.
Must be nice to be rich and able to afford to put on too much.
Yeah, just fire on. See what happens.
And Brian solved his problem with rainbow wax.
I did.
He put a stamp on them and sent them to Steve.
That's the way to do it.
Look at that.
I must say I like the way the color on the cherry comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cherry is lovely unless you put a dusty handle over it.
I was going to say, unless you rest a dusty hand on top of it, makes it look rank. You like Ravenscroft.
I wouldn't do that unless I was trying to pose for the cameras and show that off. But you know what I'm like once cameras get turned on, everything goes to
Yep.
pot.
You've got 50 people watching you, Pete.
Wow, thank you everyone.
Kev's not very well today. He's suffering with his achy breaky back, he says.
Oh dear.
It's not good, Kev. Hope that gets a bit better. I'm suffering a bit today myself with the injury to my heel somehow.
Yeah, it's
Been
that
doing to your heel.
that kind of weather that if you have any aches anywhere, it'll bring them out.
Yeah.
Just have a problem just where my Achilles tendon attaches to the back of your foot. A little bit of bone that sticks out the back of your foot.
Yeah.
It is horrendously painful. It's that horrendously painful that I can't stand in the workshop.
That's bad.
That is bad.
It is. Good news is I got an appointment from a doctor and I'm actually getting to go and see one. Face to face.
Real
Is
life.
it?
Wow.
Not on a
In
camera
real
live.
life, yeah. No,
Blimey.
no phone call, no nothing. Just go and see the doctor. So I've made a list.
Winkler's
The
saying
voice
he
in
hasn't
this
been able to
back
be
is
here
just
for
the
months.
lightest of pressure. And one thing that Martin Saban-Smith, who makes it, taught me years ago is keep your fingernails out of the way because they will scratch it. They will scratch
Yeah.
the wood underneath it.
They will indeed.
So use the pads of your
Um,
fingers and make sure your fingernails don't touch.
Eric is saying that he's not been able to be here for months, so it's so nice to hear everybody, but he's off to work now.
Bye, Eric.
See you later.
Take it easy,
Bye,
buddy.
Cheers,
Nice
Eric.
to see you.
Catch you soon.
There's a question there for you, Brian, from Roger Kent.
I've seen that question. Hi, Roger. That's why we were a bit delayed. I was explaining about horses to the guys, and the horse who is currently not very well is still not 100%, not well, but he's there's no improvement as such, but he's not getting any worse currently. So we're just kind of keeping our fingers crossed and see does the medication we've got for him. He's seriously anemic currently, so we're giving him a tonic, for the want of a better word, to try and build him back up again, and we'll see how he goes. And we're also waiting for the results of the Cushing's test, which should arrive next week sometime. But fingers crossed he'll be okay.
Donna Loving Gelatis has joined us.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's got to go back to work. See you later, Steve.
Take care, mate. We're overdoing
Bye,
it.
Steve.
Well, she said she's waiting for a phone call, but a phone call. She has phone call, but I think she means a phone call back from Doctor for Gideon. Well, I hope it's nothing serious. Let's see.
It's just off camera, but this is the SK114, by the way.
It is not, is it?
Yeah.
Shock horror.
No, that doesn't show it either. Yeah, SK114.
Oh, okay. We'll take your word for it, Pete.
Oh, a topical tip. I've just put this on the chuck. So now I'm standing completely out of the way, turning it on with the lathe down and bringing the speed up. So that's a topical tip because there's been a lot of discussion on a post on AWDB forum because a guy got killed when, well, we don't know the full details, but it looks like he had a piece of wood break into three, a large piece of wood. And when he was found, instantly dead, he was found with the lathe still running. Unfortunately, the people investigated that we're not wood turners, so we don't have full details. But
I would imagine he didn't have his face shield on either.
apparently, it was a large piece of wood. A face shield would not have helped. Being in the right place would have helped.
True. I had a 20-inch diameter piece on once, and it was turning quite nicely, and all of a sudden it split into two parts. One part went forward and the other part came straight at me. And if I hadn't been wearing my face shield, and I've got a very thick one, it would have done a lot of damage.
Yeah,
Similarly, last summer I saw a young lady who was very careless about where she put her hand, and she managed to get her last three fingers of her left hand between the tool rest and the wood, and ended up with compound fractures of all three.
Doesn't bear thinking about that. That has to be painful.
Yeah, she was still in a lot of pain.
I bet you.
I always say it all the time. Wood turning can be fun, but you have to treat it with respect.
Well,
You have
it's
to
like
know where
any,
to stand, how to stand, be in the right place, and use the machinery.
yeah, you have to use some common sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I realize that's a rare item these days.
There is no rule that applies to every situation, so you've got to adapt it to fit.
Yeah.
Well, like, for example, right now, Pete, you just moved your tool rest, but you had the common sense to stop the lathe first. And
Yeah,
so those
I am guilty of not doing that quite often,
yeah.
but I'm trying to show a bit more common sense on camera. But also is accuracy. I mean, that goblet video I did the other day, I moved the tool rest 3 times, and each time I moved it wrong. But I didn't stop and adjust it because I was trying to get in under 5 minutes. Spending a bit of time getting your tool rest right makes all the difference to your final piece.
Hi, Stephen.
Yeah.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Steve.
There is some debate in the chat about the availability of GPs. Controversial subject. What GPs?
Yeah. You see, Donna has said that she has an appointment tomorrow with the physiotherapist, even though she was trying to get an appointment with the doctor. Why would the think that a physiotherapist would be helpful when there's nothing being diagnosed as yet? So because she hasn't seen a doctor, I don't get that. if the doctor said, well, it's X and the physiotherapist will help, then fair enough.
Robert Brockwood has a question. He wants to know why do you use a faceplate ring to start the turning instead of using a large hole saw?
I normally do use not a hole saw, but a Forstner bit. I don't know why I used a faceplate ring today.
Faceplate
I
ring
was
is
setting up for
probably
this
the
yesterday,
most
and
secure method, bar
I
none.
just took a fancy to it.
For myself,
Is it-
I find a faceplate ring to be much safer, particularly if the wood is flat on that surface.
The most secure method. Then you've probably got worm screw is the next safest, and then drilling a hole with a Forstner bit is a
Drilling a
good
hole with a
option,
Forstner
but
bit
it's probably
requires
the
experience because
it's got to be
not
done
going to fit
properly.
your doors properly.
I would tend to go between centers before I would use a Forstner bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between centres has got other advantages because if you go between centres, you don't have to put the wood in straight.
Especially if you're doing a natural edge piece and you want one edge higher than the other.
Yeah. I was looking for
Or you want
something.
both edges level. You're allowed. It gives you options.
So if I had this piece and I wanted to turn something out of it, I probably won't turn anything out of this because it's rubbish, but I could put it in between centres at an angle like that, or like that, or like that. And wherever I put it, that's where my tenon's going to end up on the back of it. So when I spin it around, I've got a different angle to just flat. So it gives you more options between centres. There's advantages and disadvantages to everything. If you're going to use a Forstner bit, which is what I do most of the time, do practice on smaller pieces first, get the hang of it. As I said, the grip isn't as good, but it's good enough.
Well,
Because you have the tailstock up for most of those anyway.
It depends too on the jaws in your chuck, because the Forstner bit leaves a straight wall going into the piece. And if your chuck has dovetails, it doesn't tend to hold very well.
No, it doesn't. As I said, that's where the tailstock comes into play there.
I like to use a faceplate ring because I know that it's the right size for the chuck, because it's the one that came with the chuck.
Yes.
That's true enough, yeah.
If you're using a faceplate ring, make sure it is the one for your chuck.
I'm just playing around with making small cuts here and looking at the shapes and things. Decide where I'm going.
Put an end on camera, please.
Tailstock camera, Pete.
Sorry?
Tailstock camera. You get a view at the end.
That's
good.
it.
Yeah, that'll do.
Gotta find my cue.
It's quite high up, like camera.
Oh, Mike.
That one is
Mike
quite
using
high
it.
up, yeah. Could try this one.
It's okay. We can see it okay.
How's that one?
Mike
It's frozen.
Hughes
It's
has,
frozen, I think. My
Frozen,
camera's
that one.
frozen,
Not
Pete.
good at all.
Yeah.
Mike Hughes has joined us. Welcome,
Hi,
Mike.
Mike.
All right, Mike.
Oh, that's it. That'll do, Pete.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
like
That's
that
good
one.
enough. Yeah, that's a good view.
Yeah, I'm just playing with shape.
Mike Hughes says hello from lovely sunny Somerset.
Yeah, it's
Lucky
sunny
you,
up here
it's-
in North Yorkshire.
It's got nice and grey here now suddenly.
I'm
I also
watching
got
the
to meet
snow
Mike on
come
Friday.
down outside.
Oh, it'd be like a winter wonderland.
Yes, it is.
Susie says it's lovely blue sky and sunny here in Switzerland as well. Have you got much snow, Susie?
It'll be a busy time of year, won't it, on the slopes?
Should be. January, February, March is really good. Certainly in
Those nice
Scotland, that's
shavings.
really good skiing weather.
Stop sniffing the shavings.
That is so good. You know, turn this
It's
down
only,
to a 3-inch platter, couldn't I?
Pete, it's only cherry.
It's beautiful.
Put
Smells
the
of cinnamon.
shavings
It's
down.
lovely.
Well, I'll tell you, if you want to turn something that smells lovely, try some eucalyptus.
No, that gives me a headache.
Well, when I turn that, my whole house smells like a pharmacy for the next 3 months.
That's not bad.
Susie says she's having temperature variations. -5 degrees this morning at 7 a.m. and it's now 5 plus 5 degrees. And it's all white, but it's melting. But they're apparently getting another foot of snow on Friday.
So it won't take that long to get there from here.
I'm at Jim's house and it's beautiful here. It's beautiful and sunny. Not a cloud in the sky.
No, we've got clouds, but it's still really nice, bright sunshine.
No, it's not very nice here at all now.
I'll bet where Kim is, she can wear a bathing suit right now.
Yeah, jeez.
I would say.
Not jealous at all.
Canary
Donna's got
Islands,
sun.
we've got all year round.
Donna's got sun in Scotland. That's an unusual occurrence.
That's well, it's nice. I've got to go out after this and organise an MOT for my car.
Good luck with that.
It'll be fine.
I know that feeling, Kev. Temperature changes messes with his arthritis, he says. Does my fingers.
I've been trying to discuss a holiday with Glyn. Now, I like cooler weather, so I'd like somewhere like Alaska or Canada, where Glyn likes the warmer weather and he'd prefer somewhere like Tenerife
Oh, right.
or Africa.
No, I
If he
like
goes
my,
one way and I go the other.
winters.
California, Joe.
Oh,
Sierra
yeah.
Nevada's one side, and then you've got the beach the other. They're within an hour's drive of each other, so you can go up in the mountains and he can go down the beach.
Yeah, I was going to say he go one way and I go the other.
A friend of
That's
mine lived
holiday,
in just above Granada in the mountains of Spain.
Ooh.
And the thing to do on a winter's day was to go up to the top of the mountain and ski down to the beach where you strip off and sunbathe.
I can remember doing that when I
Wow.
was younger. Dr. Bob makes a good point. He says wood turning is like driving a car. You have to always be aware of your situation and surroundings.
Yeah.
He had a bowl shatter, and as he backed up, he slipped and fell on the shavings and ended up with 13 stitches.
Dangerous then, shavings.
That's why you keep your shop clean, right, Brian?
That's exactly right, really.
Chris Cloud says I should try some camphor laurel. I'd really like to, except that we never see it up here.
No, I agree with Susie. Perfect
Yeah.
temperature is 18 to 21 degrees Celsius. It's
Perfect
perfect.
for riding
But I don't.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is.
ride motorbikes. I haven't said that. But 18 to 21 is perfect.
It is.
A little
I
warm
agree
for
with that.
me.
Oh, as long as you're not doing any extravagant exercise, right? I cold my house this morning. I had to put heating on.
I saw a picture of your motorcycle the other day, Susie, on Facebook.
Susie in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did she go for that 0 degree ride the other week?
I'll answer us in a minute.
Donna's just said, I should learn to turn then, as I fell over on thin air and broke my ankle. Oh dear, there's just no hope. There's no hope for the clumsy, but
Don't feel bad, Donna. My husband did the same thing and broke his neck.
Yes, she went for the Sub-Zero ride.
Did you enjoy it?
no, she was freezing.
It's awful when you get you.
Took her 2 hours to warm up when she got home, she said.
Yeah, there's a
No.
problem. It does take time. The last time I broke my ankle, it was building the greenhouse I bought for my wife's present. So I
See?
decided from that, doing gardening generally is dangerous, but also buying my wife presents can hurt.
I'm glad I don't have a wife.
My goodness.
Unfortunately, not buying a present can hurt too.
Yeah, they can be trouble, Ruby.
Well, at least I don't have to put up with complaints about my ducks and stuff.
You do better
Pete,
than that,
are
Ruby.
you
I'm glad I don't have a wife soon.
Pete,
Let's
are
see
you
what-
My divorce comes through next month. Yay!
Pete, are you
Sorry,
going
Ruby.
to check your depth?
Oh yeah, I got miles yet.
Okay, just checking.
Just enjoying.
Smelling the shavings.
I think you're
I'm not-
getting addicted to that stuff there.
Oh, I love it. It's my favourite. It's a subtle smell. It's not like, if you do eucalyptus or cedar or whatever, the whole workshop stinks of it. This is much more subtle, but it's lovely. I want to use a different gouge in a minute.
You do? Another gouge?
Along with my theory of using as many tools as possible.
Oh, yeah. So technically, you can use 2 different gouges, 2 different scrapers.
Now, I probably won't use a scraper.
Like Richard Raffin. Why use 1 scraper when you can use 4?
This is a misuse of a technique we were taught in Ireland. For just sort of getting rid of the bulk of wood.
Stock removal.
I'm partly using because I'm using a bigger gauge now, and so my tool rest is at the wrong height. But as I'm working out what shape I'm cutting as I go along.
In between the sniffing, you mean?
Yeah. What can you see there? You can see that.
Stop looking at the camera.
Yeah, we can see.
ever use a gauge or anything to check your wall thickness?
Yes, I do. I've got several. My favourite one is
David.
this.
Not
old
not
piece
a-
here.
not all of us have giant sized fingers, so we couldn't.
It's so
reach
gratifying to see
the
she
bottom.
does this to you as well as me.
Yeah, I like this one because you can put it inside of a hollow form or something. Then you can't see what I'm doing. Hang on. You've got a screw here, and you do up till it's just touching, and that will set the jaws to whatever they are, even if you can't see it.
Where did you get them, Pete?
I can't
You
remember.
remember?
I've had them for a long time.
That's to sell 'em.
I'll try and find out, but I can't remember off the top of my head. If I can find out, I'll stick it on the comments. I've had these for a lot of years, and they're very handy. I also use figure-8 ones, and these ones. And I have my counterfeit depth gauge, which I bought off of the
What do you
darknet.
mean counterfeit?
Well, it's not made by Mark,
Oh, okay. I understand now.
so it's a counterfeit set.
Yeah.
And actually, that's the actual depth gauge that I got from Procraft. Just a mini depth gauge, and I
Oh,
just added a piece of wood to make it into a bowl depth gauge.
Now, Susie says she's always concerned about scratching the finished outside when using a thickness measuring tool. Well, my way around that is I don't put the finish on the outside until I turn the bowl around to do the bottom.
There is always that option. You could put a bit of tape on it, a bit of
True.
padding. But the main thing is never do it with the lathe running.
Absolutely.
There's a link for those calipers.
Oh, what am I?
That is a double set. There's a big one and a small one. It's £68.
That's a bargain because they are so useful.
oh, excuse me.
Kevin makes
Susie,
a
with
good,
those,
Kevin makes a
Sorry.
good point to take the sharp corners off when you do get the new calipers.
those ones that Pete's using there, you don't usually tend to use with the lathe running, and you can just barely touch the outside with the caliper. I've also seen somebody put a little bit of felt on the part that goes on the outside. But taking
I
the
would-
corners off is just as good.
I would never consider taking a measurement with the lathe running. Never.
I do in
neither.
spindles regularly.
Yeah, but spindles are different than a bowl.
Yeah,
Totally.
I will do it, and
different.
then taking the corners off a gouge is absolutely vital advice. But on a bowl, no, I tend to turn the lathe off.
It's too much damage to the outside if you do accidentally touch it.
Now then, given that you have to use as many tools as possible on whatever job you're doing, I'm going to bring in my traditional grind, 60 degree, covered in dust.
Your bottom feeder?
Yep. And that is absolutely perfect for cutting straight across the bottom like that.
Enchanted Wood Designs is in. Good afternoon.
I think my 60-degree bowl gouge is probably my favourite bowl gouge to use. it forward to the point where I can get down to the bottom of the bowl and use it.
There is a little bit of a learning curve the first few times you use it.
It does give such a good finish.
Yes, it does.
Everything is a learning curve when you first use it. If I
Dr.
was
Paul
doing
said,
a bowl probably an inch, but definitely 2 inches bigger than this, I would avoid having a flat bottom on it. I would go for a continuous curve all the way across. If I'm doing a small bowl, say 4 inches up to this size, then I like a flat bottom because it actually gives you a bigger volume.
Bob says he has a request.
What's that?
We've all seen literally hundreds of people turn bowls with gouges. How about turning one the way we had to before gouges were invented? So that'd be with a scraper. Bowl scraper.
Yeah, they've been done with scrapers before.
Rex B is asking how you merge the sides with the bottom feeder using sandpaper. Actually, you'd be surprised by bringing the handle far to the right. You can pick up the cut and carry it all the way through
Exactly like
fairly
he's doing
easily.
right now.
Yep.
Rush that one a bit. When you are out here, you've got a diameter, so your wood's moving at whatever that diameter is times the lathe speed. And when you get in here, diameter is decreasing. So at the moment, I'm turning that lathe speed times that diameter, as in the amount of wood that's actually flowing over the tool. When I'm in here, I've got the lathe speed, but virtually no movement. So the middle is slow, so you need to slow down the tool progress as you get there. I think everybody in the chat already knows that, but I've got to say it just in case somebody new to it watches.
Well, it's a good reminder to people who are experienced as well. Sometimes you get in a rush and you want to get it done right away, and you try and go too fast.
Susie's asked what brand bottom feeder would you recommend? I've answered it in the chat. Basically, Susie, any of the tool makers, Sorby, Crown, Hamlet, Henry Taylor,
This one's a
they all
Sorby.
make
This
good
used to be a
gouges.
fingernail.
It's just the grind angle you put on it.
Yeah, this used to be a fingernail. It used to be my main bowl gouge. When the flute got short and it became a pain in the ass to sharpen it regularly, I changed it to a traditional 60 degree. I've also got back there a traditional 45 degree. Basically, bowl gouge, you use a bowl gouge quite quickly. I mean, I get through a bowl gouge in 9 months to a year. Whereas a skew or parting tools, I've never bought another parting tool since I started. They haven't worn out yet. Most of the tools you buy are lifetime tools. But bowl gouges, you sharpen them regular, so they get short quickly. So bowl gouges, you can play with things. And I've got 40/40 grinds, I've got Ellsworth grind, I've got fingernail grind, and I like to play with all of them. So I do it for fun. But also having lots of different grinds means I can justify having more tools. Now I kind of like where I'm at the moment, but I don't like that bit. So I'm going to just change that. Just round that over a bit.
Oh, that's a lovely rolled edge.
Brian, it beats the alternative.
You're right. I love a rolled edge.
I do, but I would normally do a proper rolled bead on top if I was going to go for, I don't know, another 4 or 5 mil thickness. On this one, I'm going for a rolled inwards, but not on the edge.
It's a beautiful piece of wood.
Isn't it just?
As I said earlier, I'm not going to actually finish this on the lathe. I've left myself about 1/8 of an inch more to cut out of the bottom. But we'll just sand it up and see where we're at. And I will put wax on the inside of this, just to show it. But what I want to finish with oil afterwards. So I'll be putting it back on, cutting a bit more off. And then I'll spend 2 or 3 days putting oil into it. So that makes it a Stuart Farini inspired bowl, because I'm going to put a finish on and then cut it off again.
See Stuart back on YouTube this
No.
weekend.
It's you need to be adding colours to become a Stuart Farini bowl.
Yeah, I said inspired, not.
Mm-hmm. Have you got any
If anybody
colours?
hasn't seen Stuart, then he cuts a large bowl, splashes the back of it with colours of all sorts and shapes and sizes. Then he cuts off about 1 mil and has another go with lots of other colours and shapes and sizes. So from one bowl he can get lots and lots of bits to paint. When he finds one he likes, then he puts that onto another bowl instead. The photographic colour scheme and put it onto something completely different then. The trouble with using these inertia drives is that middle bit.
Yeah, it
If you
dies
rock
in
it
the
up and
middle,
down,
doesn't it?
if you rock it up and down, you can pick up a bit of speed and then come back across the middle with it. As you come out of the bowl, so you pick up a lot more speed.
Dandy Wood Designs is having to drop off now. He's got to go clear some snow off the car for his wife.
Okay, bye for now.
Maybe he should teach her how to do it.
Well, while you're there, you can pop up to Ruby's and get the snow off her car as well, because Ruby's struggling to reach it.
That's true. It took me 2 hours yesterday to do the 3 vehicles. Now, if I were Pete's size, I could reach it all from one side. You know, I think that camera angle shows exactly why turners get addicted to turning. It's when you're sanding and you're watching that steady stream of dust going into the dust extractor.
Yeah.
Donna says she doesn't have that issue. She doesn't drive. And she doesn't need to clear the snow off the bus. Very
Now I'm
good,
at the 240 grit. I'm just going to touch the outside of that actual corner. Just take the sharpness off of it. Wouldn't do that with a lower grit because it would take too much wood away. I wander down to the other end of the workshop and turn the extractor off. I need to move that switch.
Robert Broadwood's having to go. He's got to go and walk the dog before picking his grandson up from school. We'll see you later, Robert.
Just put a little a remote off and on switch on magnetic base on your lathe, Pete. That's what I did.
Yeah, mine's an NVR, so I can't do that. The easiest way is just to move it along. I'll get around to that. As I said, I've left this one with a bit of room, so the final bowl won't be quite this shape, but it's about another 1/8 of an inch that's going to come off of it. But I'll be leaving the rim there, undercutting and taking that 1/8 of an inch down through to the bottom. That's something I want to do with a bit more time and care and get my finish right on that. It's good to do lives, but when you get to finishing, it can take you 1 hour to cut a bowl and 4 hours to finish it, and it's not that good to watch. I've got to put my board in place. And if I just had a fairly dull piece of work, I would go for a finish and then quite happily burn it afterwards. But this is a nice piece of wood and I don't want to waste it.
Look at it. That piece of cherry almost looks like a piece of olive wood.
Yeah, the figurines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite similar, isn't it? It's
Quite lovely.
not quite as big a contrast as you get with olive, but it's similar pattern.
Are you going to leave that in the chuck, or are you going to take it out of the chuck?
I can take it out of the chuck because it's marked up, so I can put it back in later.
Twice.
Yay!
Lynn, turn your hearing aids up and get the best experience of this.
That's just for Brian.
It's for me. Exciting.
Lord knows it ain't for anyone else.
Just watch
You know I don't mean it. Or maybe I do. You'll never know.
So lathe speed down. Because I can, mine's down to 300. If yours don't go down that slow, 500 is good enough. Actually, it's down to 336, but who's counting?
Really only stop it splattering you with excess wax, really.
It is a suspension. Wax, oil, and grit. So it's effectively a liquid that's got thicker. So if you turn it on at 1,000 when you just put it on there, then you'll be wearing it. It's also the reason for turning the lathe off when you put the sanding sealer on, because it ruins your glasses.
Go on, Joe. Sing
Go on,
it.
Joe.
Where you want to.
Hands of your pity can be soft as your face. with light brown Yorkshire gritty. There we go. Thank you.
Now, in reality, you should be doing this on a thing this size for 3 minutes or so. But as I said, this is not the finish that I'm going to end up with, so I'm not going to bother to go all the way with it. I'll just go part way. You'll get enough of effect on that. Turn the speed up now. And take it off. Not a finish, it's a sanding process. So you want to get rid of it. And because it's you lot, I'll spoil you and give you a brand new piece of cloth. How's that?
No, not the extravagance. Oh,
You are lucky.
I can't believe it.
I was starting to worry about whether or not you couldn't afford more paper.
It's gone up a lot in price over here.
Yes.
I think it has everywhere.
Yeah. Well, everything's going up in price, isn't it?
Well, when you see that the grocery stores and the gas stores are all recording record profits, that tells me that this increase in prices is just a scam.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. If it was genuinely down to everything costing more, then their profit should be the same.
Absolutely. Now,
That's
like
all right.
we've had
I'll
changes.
go over to Brian's and nick his.
But
Well, you want to get rid of that kitchen roll you got?
I've got about half a roll of it left now, Pete, thankfully. I'm getting towards the end of
Get
it.
in there. Get in there. Brian bought out a bad batch. He bought it in bulk.
I did about 6 giant rolls of it. It was a mistake.
Hamster machine again. As I said, this isn't the final finish I'm going to use, but it will make your cherry shine up for you.
What was that a bad batch of, Brian?
Just kitchen roll.
Oh, paper
There's
towels.
paper towel, yeah.
And what
just-
was
Well,
wrong
it's
with
just
it?
it's kind of too thin, and it's very it's rough as well, and it's just not good quality paper, you know.
Hmm.
And if you're trying to finish, it doesn't really produce a really nice shine on it. It's almost a little bit abrasive, if you like. And then when you get, as soon as you get it wet, even with your like Yorkshire grit on it, it starts to just fall apart. It's cheap rubbish.
No, you get what you pay for.
That's exactly right. But everybody likes a bargain, don't they?
True.
But it's only a bargain if it works. So, once bitten, twice shy. I won't be buying it again.
I can read in the chat that chocolate.
Sorry, what did you say there, Mark?
I said you're actually reading the chat. This
Ouch.
nice.
It's beautiful.
It's indeed a lovely piece of wood.
And what I'm doing now is that chucked all there. Just putting a line there. So when I put it back in, it'll go back in roughly the same place.
And what is the benefit of that?
to align it better so it runs through her.
It's more likely to be back on spot. As I said, I left an eighth of an inch here, so if it's not back on perfect, I've got room to cut it back to the shape of wherever it goes back in at.
Okay.
But if you're really close to the mark and you put it in out of line, then it oscillates it a little bit, and then you can possibly have problems with your final piece.
Okay.
There we go.
Lovely, Pete. Beautiful piece of
It
wood.
is.
Beautiful piece of wood, and
Mhm.
That'll be a useful little bowl.
it's
Well,
a useful size bowl. It's
Yeah.
not massive, but it's a useful size. Do it that way around.
Very much so.
Thank you all for coming in. Thank you very much for my team, my support
Oh,
team. Who,
we're back.
We are.
I'm not. I should be back as well. There we go. Yep. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yep.
A lovely bit of English cherry, which I think is the same as European cherry, but it's not the same as American cherry. American cherry is a very different wood. It's not as pretty, but it grows bigger. So you'll get planks of American cherry where you won't very often get planks of English cherry.
I wouldn't say it's not as pretty. We have cherry here that's just as equally pretty.
Okay, so the stuff that they export to us, it's
We get all the rubbish.
nice,
That was good.
but it's not as pretty as the English stuff, and it doesn't smell quite as nice. Because I gotta say,
Well, I would
this is gorgeous.
I would disagree with that. Just remember how long it takes to get to you.
Well, yeah, but this is 6 years old and it still smells beautiful.
That's what Pete's
Anyway.
going to be doing all afternoon. Oh, what did you do?
I might make a potpourri bowl and just shove some of this in it. Actually,
He'll probably
why not?
leave that on his shop floor until I come over and sweep it up for him.
yeah.
More
could do
like
that.
that.
Just so he can smell it daily.
Thanks for
Oh,
everybody
dear.
coming in to watch. Thanks for my team to support.
You're welcome, Pete.
Glad it.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Terry's
Probably.
back next week after he gets his bionic sorted. I'll show you what he's looking for, what he can't find.
Yeah, spanner.
Yeah,
You don't call it rubber in,
that
Pete.
small thing.
It's only an 8-inch spanner.
You can't
It's
find
massive.
a small spanner that he's dropped in his workshop somewhere. If you can't find a spanner that size, you've got problems.
Well, that's why I have mine that size hanging by a magnet on the side of my lathe.
Yeah, mine's on a magnet behind the leg because I never use it. But
The story gets worse because he actually mounted the two vacuum chucks on the wall on the chuck buddies, and put a nail beside it, and then didn't hang the spanner up on the nail. So he has
Bless
absolutely
him.
no idea what it is.
anyway, he's back next week. You're on tonight, Brian?
Nope, not on tonight. I can't stand
Not
it
on
late.
tonight? Of course not.
Ah,
We got Andy, I believe, tomorrow lunchtime.
We have.
And are you on tomorrow night, Mark?
No, I'm picking Kim up from the airport tomorrow night. I'm probably going to do Friday lunchtime as a stand-in for Wayne if Wayne doesn't do his own.
Okay. So we might have Wayne on Wednesday. Wayne's,
Wayne definitely Wednesday night. Yeah.
yeah, he's still dealing with the flood damage and stuff, so he's busy.
yes.
You on
I'll be
Thursday,
back on
Brian?
Thursday.
You back?
Yeah,
You
we'll
get your
hopefully be
foot
back
sorted?
Thursday. Hopefully.
Cool. And then we got maybe Mark on Friday and then Steve Friday evening. So see you on one of those guys. Thanks for coming in.
Excellent.
Susie, I'm not even home, darling. This is Kim's house. I'm nowhere near a lathe.
Well,
No way
no,
I
but
can do
yeah,
tonight.
it's 40 miles away.
You know, I've done no MOT on my car.
Ah. So cheerio from Ruby.
Cheerio.
Cheerio from Brian.
Hi, everybody.
Cheerio from Mark.
Right.
And cheerio from Joe.
And from the
Bye,
voice of
everyone.
an angel.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Have a great